Assets to Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Write an email to holders at ufaa.go.ke to request your profile to be created. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite. Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
How could he kill those innocent soldiers? He tried to loot the royal treasury. Acharya, what could have driven him to do so?
What games are you playing with me? Why has Helena sent this to you?
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
You're going to be the sweetest wife and most loving in the world.
You suffer because of her? What a pity you don't understand that she's not worth it.
What did he do to you? Did he brainwash you or what?
Hey, none of the insults, Swana. She's also going to stop working at the shop.
You what?
Help me, please. Just speak to him. I need to know what he's thinking.
I just have to gain his confidence for him to let me run the repair shop completely.
That would be great, right?
Is Francisco pressuring you?
How dare you?
El paraíso
In love with Ramon.
My primary school life was difficult, but my mom struggled and I managed to finish the class 8, 2016. I knew back in my heart that minus getting a scholarship, I couldn't make it for the high school. My friend told me all benefit of Wings to Fly, scholarship, school fees, shopping, transport. I knew that there's no any option to get the school fees. That's why I went to apply the scholarship. My mom was called back and told that he didn't got the scholarship. I knew it that my dreams would come to pass. 2020, when the coronavirus pandemic came, I was very worried about my KCC, but Wings to Fly gave us light system and the radio that we will continue lessons with it. Now I can read at night and wake up very early in the morning, like 4, to go through my books. Before I got the scholarship, it was like darkness was before me. But when I got the Wings to Fly scholarship, light has come to my life, and I am sure that by God's grace I will go to the best university in this world, which is Oxford, to partake medicine and surgery, and I can see my future being very, very good.
It's exactly 2 days into the second last month of the year 2020. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us today as we are observing the International Day to End Impunity Against Journalists. I begin this bulletin by celebrating all my colleagues in the profession, those who are behind the scenes, those who are in front of the scenes, those who toil in the field to unearth the stories that shape this country, and those who give direction in terms of how we get these stories and how we air those stories for you. We celebrate each and everyone in the media fraternity. Thank you so much. We'll be giving you details about how this day is being marked and what issues are shaping the welfare of the journalists in the country, plus other stories that our news team has been working on for you. Matters COVID-19 plus the BBI politics, a comprehensive news bulletin lined up for you ahead. My name is Serfine Achieng, Ouma, and our sign language interpreter is Simon Karotha. Of course, we begin straight away with matters COVID-19, a very stern warning from the Education CS, Professor George Magoha, who is warning schools against floating the Ministry of Education directive to only admit grade 4, class 8 and form 4 learners. Magoha read the Riot Act to an undisclosed school, which he says is currently conducting physical classes for learners in other grades and kindergarten in violation of the government's directive. He also ordered the school to stop admitting other learners with immediate effect, failure to which the ministry will take stern action. At the same time, he reiterated the government's commitment to ensure safety of learners in the wake of the pandemic, citing that the situation in Maranda Boys is under control. He was speaking in Mukuru Primary School while assessing the progress of learners.
Payment is going to be given through M-Pesa. I think that by Friday we shall be in a very good state to tell the nation that this exercise is complete.
All right, now we will be giving you a comprehensive report about what the CS said today. But now we want to follow up on a story that has been developing right here in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. It touches on the strike by healthcare workers in Nairobi. 17 cadres, I understand, are pushing for promotions. Caroline Kamau has been following up on this particular story. Let's just follow in on what is happening currently. They were holding a demonstration today with regards to this request. Let's just listen into what is happening.
A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Caroline Kamau. Serfine, as you said, we are at Afya House here in Nairobi. These are the scenes that have been there since morning. Today, we were at Uhuru Park initially, and then now we are right here at Afya House. These are healthcare workers who are pushing for promotions from the government. I, however, have an interview with Maureen Zioka. Just come to the set. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us know, first of all, who are this? Who are you representing today?
My name is Maureen Zioka. I'm the Kenya National Government Branch Secretary. We are here for two reasons only. We are out because of two reasons: promotion and redesignations. And all cadres behind here, they are clinical officers, nurses, public health, nutritionists, orthopedic, plasticians. All this under the national government, that is Ministry of Health. There has been an historical injustice for the last 15 years. They've not promoted us. On 4th May, we jointly wrote a strike notice to the Ministry of Health. And on 20th of this May, the CS Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe initiated a conciliatory meeting concerning the welfare of the workers in the Ministry of Health. But as the union, we dropped the strike demands, and we say let's have a talk and we agree on the way forward. But it has reached to a point that there is nothing that is going on. Now the ministry backtracked and left us hanging. We don't know where we belong. We are here to demand for our right. This is our right. We cannot be in the same job group from the entry level up to when we are going to retire. It's so unfortunate the ministry is here. Every year, the Ministry of Health does a budget, and they will always budget for the promotion money. Where does it go to? That is our big question. Where does our money go to? You just the other day, you heard about the money here in the Ministry of Health for COVID-19. It went missing. So we are wondering, are we put in the same position? So should we be working while them they're enjoying up here? We are demanding for our rights, and that is all we want.
There was a pledge by government, however, to have those promotions enacted not so long ago. What exactly happened?
No, the promotion, these are just tactics, for delaying tactics. They've never done anything. We've wrote to them severally. We've asked for a meeting so that we know the way forward. They never even called us. They assumed us. They gave us a deaf ear. So we are here to demand for our rights until they give us this promotion, because it's our right and it's duly our demand that we cannot sit down, keep quiet silently and suffer in silence. We have also families, we have other needs like any other Kenyan. So we are here to demand, because we believe they are sitting on our money right here. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. That's Maureen Nzioka speaking on behalf of the health workers here in Nairobi, saying that there's no promotion, then there's no work. They've done their tools to push for their promotions. That's it from me. Much more on this story in our subsequent bulletins. I'm Caroline Kamau. Back to you, Serfine.
Caroline, for that report. We are not going to suffer in silence. We are going to push for the promotions. That is what a section of the healthcare workers who are striking in Nairobi County are demanding for. We'll be giving you more details about some of the issues that they are demanding for going forward. Now, moving on, a section of the clergy are demanding a ban on political gatherings in the wake of the increase in COVID-19 cases. At the same time, the political class remain divided on the ongoing BBI sensitization campaigns, with Embu leaders warning that the ongoing debate could polarize the country. Kevin Washira brings us more details.
Former Embu Senator Lenny Kivuti is hitting out at leaders who he says have accelerated the BBI campaigns prematurely. At the same time, he cautioned politicians against using the youth to cause division in the ongoing BBI sensitization campaigns. Kivuti, who is championing for the building of consensus in the document, says the report would benefit Wanjiko through allocation of more resources towards devolution.
The issue of BBI is a government document. Being a government document is a proposal to the people of Kenya. And it was made clear we are not looking, government is not looking for a way to antagonize people, where we end up with some people saying yes and others saying no.
Separately, a section of the clergy are demanding the suspension of ongoing political gatherings in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. Led by Bishop Nicholas Muli, the clergy have also offered to mediate between the president and his deputy to reduce simmering political tensions.
Ingekuwa ni vizuri tufanye kitu kimoja kwanza. Nchi yetu ina zile agenda 4 na tukaconcentrate katika agenda hizo 4, na ikifika wakati wa siasa itangazwa kama vile inafanyangwa katika miaka ile mingine, tukaweze kujua ni wakati wa siasa, na hata nasi tuna mambo ya kusema katika siasa, msitudharau.
Sentiments echoed by Matungulu MP Stephen Mule, who is calling for an immediate stop to public gatherings as the number of COVID-19 cases remain on an upward trajectory, warning on the possibility of a complete lockdown.
What is the hurry for? People are in the campaign mood of election which will take place a year away. It is paining, it is disheartening, it is lack of words for Kenyans. And it's the high time the government take responsibility of this.
Political leaders supporting the BBI report are in Naivasha, strategizing on the roadmap towards its implementation. Kevin Washira, Channel 1 News.
Thank you, Kevin, for that. It's a story, of course, that keeps taking twists and turns. We are staying on top of it for you. Now, moving on, parents have been cautioned against defying the government's directive on the resumption of learning in the country. Kisii County Education Board Chairman Professor Henry Onderi says hundreds of learners are yet to report back to school, despite the government's huge investment in the education sector. Onderi spoke even as some parents called on the government to rethink the move to reopen schools.
Weeks after the government partially reopened schools for in-person learning, many learners are yet to report back in Kisii County. The county government says the absenteeism may be due to the decision by some parents to intentionally keep their children at home.
I request the Ministry of Interior through the assistant chiefs and the chiefs to identify those parents who are still with their children back at home and, of course, arrested them.
Some parents have, however, expressed concerns over the safety of their young ones, citing the rising numbers of COVID-19 cases.
Wasiweze kufungulia shule saizi, tupime kwanza hadi next year, ndio tuone kama COVID-19 tena hii itarudi chini.
I think schools should be shut until we get the real solution to this problem. Maybe if we get a vaccine, that's when we are going to open up the schools, because we cannot open up, it's a set trap to open up schools and then we set our pupils or our sons and daughters to death.
Education stakeholders in Kisii County have in the meantime called on the government to move in and assist learning institutions in the region to meet COVID-19 health protocols.
Naomba serikali iweze kuchukua kutafuta namna nyingine ya kuweza kudhibiti maambukizi ya ugonjwa, sababu ni mengi, na sasa kama ni mengi na watoto watakapotengamana itakuwa ni janga kubwa zaidi.
Beatrice Gatonyengetich, Channel 1 News.
Allow us now to take our very first break right here on KBC Lunchtime News. Don't move, we are coming back with more stories for you.
That is when we've seen the support of Equity, because the loan which I took to pay teachers, it has been rescheduled to 2021.
Next on.
Okay, now I get this. You are married and you still have unresolved issues.
Julia, read me alone, okay? Laugh if you must. Laugh, eh? Hata ukitaka kupiga duru, piga. Just don't let me see a fool in front of me.
Kenyan, you said I'm laughing. Okay, you people are so unfair. Why does everybody think that I do not care what happened to you guys? Guess who the celebrity is?
We are not going to stop because there is corona.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
I'll talk to Mr. and then see what he thinks.
Have you been telling him everything that's going on with you, with us?
Hata kuna kakifunguo kengine nilipata hapa. Kifunguo? Ndio, kifunguo. Kengine hapo hata sijui kanapungua nini. Sijui ni kanani. I don't know anything.
Usije ukafikiria sisi hatuko serious na wewe. Julia anafanya kazi ngumu sana kutafuta a big fight. Na najua itafanyika.
Ulipata hii wapi?
Hiyo imekuwa tu hapa kwa kiosk.
You've had this all along.
Unajua nini mama? Niko karibu kwenda shule. Na sitaki kuwa na stress kukuhusu.
Kristi, hebu rudi shuleni.
Wewe enda mtuwakilishe sisi wale tulishindwa na masomo vipoa.
When Angela and Christy meet at the university, their bond somehow clicks.
That is somewhere up there in the sky on his way to China. I'll never forget when he took us to Singapore. Wow, it was fun.
Followed by a friendship that would defy their parallel backgrounds.
Since umezoea shower, good luck inside there.
How is this door shut?
Kuma bezi nuko mshoishikilie mlango kwa frame.
This new territory presents all manner of fasts as influence, temptation, family histories, and peer pressure set in. The rest of their lives become a story of love, survival.
Wait. Please, mom. Kubali tu story tumalizane twende home.
Influence, backstabbing, jealousy, and revenge.
Nimeambiwa tu kule stage muonekana na minji fulani mkikama hapa mtaani.
You decided to sneak from the hostel and go to Ray's studio without consulting me or Tiff.
Join us on Tainted the Campus Diaries as we explore this hilarious, never-seen-before drama.
Hebu nilipe pesa zangu wewe.
With a touch to behold. A story of temptation.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Now, moving on. Residents of Kiangu village in Nguni, Mwingi East Sub-County, are accusing a local contractor of doing a shoddy job in reconstructing a dam in the area. The residents are accusing the contractor of unnecessary delays, leaving them without water for weeks. They are now demanding that the county government intervenes to fast-track the completion of the dam project. This is Kiangu Dam in Nguni location of Mwingi East Sub-County in Kitui County. The residents had requested the county government to assist them in upgrading the dam, which provides water to hundreds of families in Kiangu village. In April this year, the county government contracted a contractor to desilt and reconstruct the dam, but several months down the line, there is little progress. The residents are a disappointed lot, accusing the contractor of doing a shoddy job and leaving them with untold suffering due to lack of water.
Wakati hii mradi ulikuja kulojiwa tarehe 16 mwezi wa 4, maofisa wa department ya engineer and administration ya ward na village, sisi hatujui walikonsita kuita nani. Waliita watu watatu hapa, wakakuja wakasema wamelodge mambo ya maji. Na mbikio ile walikuja nayo wakasomea watu. Hata wako beana document hata moja. Ile mbikio walikuja nayo wakasomea watu. Ikangeuka ikawa ni mambo ya disputing peke yake.
Shida ambayo iko hapa, tulifanywa kazi vibaya sababu tunajua kile ambao tuliitisha. Sababu hatukuomba msaada. Tuliitisha tukijua kile tunataka. Alikuja kufanya kazi vibaya na kazi yenyewe ni mbaya kushinda vile ingekuwa kama angekuja.
Sisi kina mama tuko na shida sana. Shida ya kuchota maji, punda zimekufa. Tunachota maji na mgongo. Tunachota maji kilomita 10 kutoka mtoni kuja huku. So tuko na shida.
They have refuted claims that they reject the contractor, making it difficult for him to deliver on the project.
Ningetaka niseme kwamba hatujakataa, sababu mradi uko hapa tangu 1999, hatujakataa hata siku moja. Namba 2, hii project tuliitisha kwa county through public participation. Wazi kwamba hatukukataa.
They are now calling on the county government to intervene and end their agony.
Tuko na petition karibu 5. Tukaandikia ward, tukaandikia sub county, tukaandikia chief engineer, tukaandikia governor mwenyewe. Tuko nazo zote hizo. Tukiomba waingilie kati tupate mradi wetu kama vile tuliomba.
County sababu alisema atafandi mradi, warudi haraka. Hapo mwanzo mwezi wa 4 walipokuwa akija tu kusema haraka, because there was time ahead of us and ahead of them.
Away from that matter, a Kiambu court has dismissed an application by the Director of Public Prosecution to withdraw a 50.9 million shillings theft case against former PCEA moderator David Gathanju and 2 others. Kiambu Senior Principal Magistrate Stella Atambo termed the application by the DPP as not merited, off the mark and incompetent. The ruling is a win for Gathanju and his 2 co-accused who want the case terminated after the accuser passed away.
The Director of Public Prosecution has suffered a blow in the 50.9 million shillings theft case facing former PCEA moderator David Gathanju and 2 others. A Kiambu court dismissed the application by the DPP to withdraw the case under Section 87A. Kiambu Senior Principal Magistrate Stella Atambo, in dismissing the application, cited the accused persons took plea 3 years ago and only 1 witness has testified so far.
This is the ruling of this court. The result is that I find that the application by the DPP, that is the Director of Public Prosecutions, is off the mark. Further, the accused persons took plea on the 18th of October 2017 or thereabout. This is about 3 years ago.
She added that the Constitution requires that such cases with so much public interest be heard without undue delay. Gathanju, who served as the moderator of PCEA General Assembly between 2009 and 2015, had been charged alongside 2 others with stealing the money from the church. The 3 denied the charges and are out on a 1 million shillings bond. Gadhanju's lawyer John Juguna welcomed the ruling and commended the court rulings. Prosecution counsel Donex Ongila expressed displeasure with the ruling and revealed that they will be applying for a review at the High Court. The court fixed the hearing of the case on January 27th and February 2nd, 2021. The decision by the prosecution to withdraw the case came 2 months after the complainant, Reverend Peter Kania, died of COVID-19. For Channel 1 News, I am Emily K. Badi.
Kiambu to Mombasa County. Motorists in Mombasa were this morning caught unawares as police officers conducted a crackdown on those flouting COVID-19 rules. Led by Mombasa County Commissioner Gilbert Kitio, the officers inspected vehicles to ensure compliance on social distancing and wearing of masks in the wake of a second wave of the COVID-19 infections in the country.
Mombasa-bound motorists flouting COVID-19 protocols had a difficult Monday morning after security officers nabbed motorists who were in violation of COVID-19 protocols at Bonja Road Block. Mombasa County Commissioner Gilbert Kitio said following the rise in infections in Mombasa, where emergency hospital wards and isolation centers have recorded full occupancy, the government had moved in to reduce infections and contain the pressure on health systems. 94 people have so far died from COVID-19 in Mombasa, while more than 3,000 others have been infected so far.
Ile statistics ambayo tuko nayo saa hii hapa Mombasa inaonyesha kwamba hospitali zetu zimejaa, especially zile za dharura ya COVID-19. Na tungependa watu wengi zaidi wapate hiyo ugonjwa na watupatie pressure hata zaidi. Kwa hivyo hiyo ndio maana ya exercise ya leo.
County Commissioner commended the long-distance bus companies and matatus for complying with the said directives, encouraging them to follow suit and equip their vehicles with sanitizers.
Kitu ambayo nafurahia zaidi ni kwamba hizi mabasi za long distance na hata matatu nyingi zimefanya compliance. Wamecomply almost 99%. Wako na barakoa, wako na mask na wako na ile sanitizer. Lakini ile shida inakuwa tu ni kwamba wengine wanavaa mask na wanavalia kwenye shingo, ambaye ni mambo madogo ya kurekebisha. Kwa hivyo kwa ufupi naweza sema compliance.
Passengers were also encouraged to wear masks and maintain social distance.
Lakini ile shida inakuwa tu ni kwamba wengine wanavaa mask na wanavalia kwenye shingo, ambaye ni mambo madogo ya kurekebisha.
Kevin Washira, Lunchtime News.
And we're crossing borders for a little bit. U.S. President Donald Trump and his Democratic challenger Joe Biden have been traveling across the U.S. as the election race enters its final hours. Donald Trump visited 5 battleground states, while Biden spoke at a campaign event in Pennsylvania, another state where the contest is tight. More than 90 million people have already cast their ballots in early voting, putting the country on course for its highest turnout in a century.
Joe Biden has a healthy national lead in the latest polls ahead of Tuesday's election. This, however, is not a clear-cut case in key states, which could decide the election's outcome. More than 90 million people have already cast their ballots in early voting, putting the country on course for its highest turnout in a century. On Sunday, President Trump held rallies in Iowa, Michigan, North Carolina, and Florida. At a rally in Philadelphia, John Biden addressed the city's black community, vowing to address what he termed as systematic racism in the U.S. Biden also criticized the president's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. Tuesday's election comes at a time the U.S. is battling the coronavirus pandemic, with the country recording more cases and deaths than any other country in the world. Top virus expert Anthony Fauci has criticized the country's handling of the pandemic, drawing a rebuke from the White House. For Channel 1 News, I am Emily K. Badi.
All right, let me now take you through something interesting here, and it touches on uniformed officers who often put their lives on the line to defend the country's territorial integrity from internal and external threats. Among those uniformed officers are men and women who put their lives on the line to defend the country's flora and fauna. The forest rangers, whose sole responsibility is to guard vegetation from illegal loggers and charcoal burners, and those keen on encroaching onto forest land. Emily Keibade spent some time with this group of foot soldiers with their boots on the ground, who remain the first and the last line of defense in guarding the forest. She brings us a first-hand account of a typical day in the life of a forest ranger.
Early morning in Imbobut forests. The forest rangers are gearing up for another day in the office, or should we say in the forest. This is one of the forests in the country that is heavily guarded. It is often a target for invasion by illegal settlers, unauthorized persons seeking to graze their livestock, illegal loggers, and cattle rustlers seeking to hide stolen livestock. In the last 5 years, the Kenya Forest Service has managed to recover and rehabilitate about 21,935 hectares of land that has been encroached on.
By 2015, all the occupants or the encroachers had been moved out of the forest. And that is when the operation was downscaled from a multi-agency operation team to only Kenya Forest Service team.
The outside splendor of the green forest with tall trees and beautiful flowers doesn't tell the tale of dark secrets within the forest, nor the danger it poses to those who dare to venture into it, as well as those tasked with guarding it. Inside the forest, the terrain is rough and the temperatures are quite cold. But despite this, the rangers are not afraid to guard the forest from those seeking to cut down trees for profit at the expense of the ecosystem.
It's an area inhabited by armed criminal gangs. And some of these gangs, we have so many series of attacks to our rangers.
David Rono, the commandant Embubut Forest, lays bare the reality of forest rangers. He says securing the forest is not a job only left to the rangers. The local community must be involved.
We had several injuries from Kenya Forest Service rangers and community scouts. Community scouts who assist us in protecting this significant ecosystem.
Although the Kenya Forest Service has been working with the communities living adjacent to the forest, it is not always a rosy affair.
They are occasioned by unruly mobs wanting in bailing for their lives, but they have been able to come up with this situation without a lot of injuries and that it tells you we are unique. We are a unique force, and we really want to encourage the forest ranger to continue doing so, to be able to actually also send a message that we are different, and actually it is us sometimes in most cases who have found ourselves being victims rather than the other way around.
Meet Isaac Odero. He is a forest ranger who has had to bear the wrath of those keen on benefiting illegally from the forest. The 5th of July this year will remain etched in his mind. A visit to the nearby market while he was off duty would see him attacked by a group of 3 boys, leaving him with serious injuries.
Wakawa wanadimandi ya kwamba hizo soka yao na mapanga hizo nitawapea ama siwapei. Kawa mimi tukawa na majibizano, nikiwaambia ya kwamba soka na mapanga yenye tulipata msituni hatukupata nyinyi pale. Hadi sasa tumeziretain for further reference. Hatujui wenyewe. Na kama ni zenyu, si hapa kwa posho mill. Please mkuje kambi on Monday, alafu tuone. Mweleze kama ni zenyu tulipata wapi na yenyu ni gani. Na hiyo hapo ndio walikasirika. Wakinilazimisha ya kwamba nitoe hizo vitu Sasa hapo ndio walianza kunifamia, akanichapa mimi kichwa, kachapa mimi mgongo, na ndio akachapa hii mguu. Hii ilichapwa na rungu, ilikuwa ndani ya gambut mara pili.
But the one incident that changed the mood the Forest Service relates with the community took place in Londiani Forest Station late last year.
So I think in the process, nobody asked what was happening. They responded to the gunshots they had, and their response was to stone the ranger and burn the motorbike. It was a very sad afternoon because he had nobody to assist him, and what happened was that we had to move in from the EC.
Stephen Kahunyo, the ecosystem conservator Kericho County, says the Community Forest Association doesn't offer full protection for the rangers, as some community members are hostile.
And we noted that the same community, we feel that we are part and parcel, sometimes may make some decisions which are not protection related. The same community we think we can rely on sometimes can turn against us.
Some rangers have been left with permanent scars and disabilities after being attacked by illegal loggers and charcoal burners.
Kwa ile harakati tumewasurround, ni kama wakasikia moja yetu aki-advance, wakaanza mbio. Kwanza mbio waka-advance kama wanaelekea pande bali niko. Kuniona waka-change route. Kuchange route, nikaanza kuwafuata nyuma tukiwa wote watatu. Tukawafuata nyuma kidogo. Kufika mahali wakapata kuna msitu imefungana kabisa. Mmoja akaweza so mimi nilikuwa karibu na wao nikifuata karibu. Mmoja akatana alikuwa na shoka. So kwa hiyo harakati ndio nikasikia ameniwekea shoka hapa kwa kichwa.
Nilikuwa nikipatrol kwa kawaida na nikampata mtu ambaye anaitwa Samuel Kipkogei. Alikuwa ameangusha miti na alikuwa ana cross akitaka kupepa. Na nilipomuuliza ni kwa nini unafanya hivi, akanirukia na akanikata mikono ikatoka. Na baadaye nikaona niko na panga na sikuelewa vile hata nilipata, kwa sababu inji ilikuwa kiza. Na kwa bahati nzuri kulikuwa na nearby farmers wenye walikuwa wanalima feli. Na hapo nikarudi mahali nilikuwa nakatiwa, nikaenda nikawakota mkono yangu na nikapandishwa pikipiki mpaka Chepkorio dispensary.
Kazini maneno na windfalls ikatokea. Miti ikatoka ikaanguka, ikaniangukia the right leg, so ikafunja. Wakati ilifunja nikapelekwa hospitali, Tenwek Hospital. Kufika huko nikaambiwa hawawezi tengeneza tena kwa sababu bone marrow ilikuwa imeingia na mchanga.
Tukaenda tukakutana na wanaume wawili armed na mapanga, very sharp pangas. Hawakungoja tuwa interrogate, waliona tu tumekutana ni kumalizana, ni vita. Akanirudia sasa kwa mkono wa kushoto, akanikata ikanichonga hivi.
According to Alex Lemarkoko, Chief Commandant, the service has come up with ways to ensure that the welfare and facilitation of the forest rangers is taken care of. Lemarkoko also revealed they have embarked on an ambitious agenda to provide up-to-date equipment to track and report on activities within the park. He pointed out the rangers will also be trained and provided with adequate and ideal housing, uniform, risk allowance and medical cover.
A challenge in terms of access control, in terms of provision of security, in terms of sentries to secure the government establishments in the forest. Then we have a very big challenge, and I will call it a time bomb. If probably we don't get support to have more rangers, we are likely to lose
huge chunks of our forests.
KFS Chief Conservator of Forests Julius Kamau said being a ranger is a calling and a commitment as they safeguard at least 2.5 million hectares of forest land. He pointed out a forest ranger is at the front line in protecting natural resources and strives to ensure forest and allied resources are safeguarded and protected for the benefit of the present and future generations.
I would wish that we as Kenyans reconsider our thoughts, our previous perceptions about Kenya Forest Service and forest rangers, and actually consider that these are the people who don't sleep day and night. When you are enjoying your sleep, there's someone who is not enjoying his sleep. To protect that tree and that forest, to ensure that the water that you enjoy continue to trickle from our rivers. We are part of nature, and when you enjoy nature, always remember and celebrate Kenya Forest Service and the Forest Ranger.
We have witnessed numerous tree planting campaigns in the country that have seen Kenyans from all walks of life plant a tree or two. But planting of these trees is not enough. We need to protect these trees as well if the country is to achieve the 10% forest cover by 2022. And the protection of these trees will not be made possible without the help of our gallant forest rangers who go out of their way to ensure that the forest is protected. Reporting from Londiani Forest, I am Emily K. Bade.
Now on to what has made news in the business world. We begin in the African continent. Mali's transitional government aims to review mining conventions signed with companies by the previous administrations. Interim President Banda said following recommendations from the country's Auditor General, Mali is one of Africa's largest gold producers. Companies operating in the country include Barrick Gold Corp, Anglo Gold Ashanti and Resolute Mining. Details of this and other stories in our African Business News Roundup.
After handing his report to the interim president, Mali's Auditor General Samba Alhamdou said the conventions establishing mining companies include clauses which do not always guarantee the protection of the interest of the state. In particular, the non-distribution of dividends, the non-payment of certain taxes, to which is added to the existence of unjustified loans, all of which is said to deprive the state of financial resources. Parliament approved a new code in April that eliminates mining companies' value-added tax exemptions during production and shortens the period during which they are protected from fiscal changes to 20 years. Elsewhere, Pan-African data center developer and operator Raxio Group has officially secured land at the ICT park in the outskirts of Addis Ababa through its fully owned subsidiary in Ethiopia. Raxio Data Center is set to construct the country's first private uptime certified Tier 3 co-location data center. Set to be commissioned in Q3 2021, Raxio Ethiopia will offer its customers an optimized environment for their IT equipment in a state-of-the-art modular facility fully equipped with industry-best-in technology, security, AC-DC power compatibility and redundancy. Customers will be able to cross-connect with local and international carriers and other customers in specially designed meet-me rooms, making Ethiopia an integral backbone to the country's digital economy. And the World Bank has approved $250 million from the International Development Association to support the establishment of the Development Bank of Ghana to increase access to long-term finance and boost job creation for 10,000 enterprises in key sectors including agribusiness, manufacturing and high-value services. The Ghana Development Finance Project is expected to increase the number of viable micro, small, medium and enterprises with access to long-term financing. It will provide financial services to about 10,000 enterprises, including 2,000 women-led MSMEs, and therefore contribute to the economic growth and diversification. The project will also strengthen the oversight of development finance institutions and the adoption of the environmental and social standards by financial institutions.
And some good news, Kenya has been voted Africa's leading golfing destination, presenting a major boost to Kenyan's struggling tourism sector. Kenya scooped the award ahead of African golfing powerhouses of South Africa, Egypt and Morocco. The World Golf Awards, which was founded in 2014, recognizes and rewards excellence in golf tourism courses and golf destinations.
Kenya's dalliance with golf dates back to more than 100 years, with the country having more than 40 world-class golf courses. The government and the private sector have been working to market the country as a premier golfing destination on the African continent. The Magical Kenya Open Golf Championships, which is part of the elite European tour, has grown in stature to become a global top golfing event, attracting some of the best players in the world. These efforts appear to be bearing fruit, with the 7th Annual World Golf Awards naming Kenya as the leading golfing destination in Africa this year. Kenya managed to outstage continent's favourites South Africa, Egypt and Morocco. The Karen Country Club was voted the Kenya's best golf course, while the Great Rift Valley Country Lodge and Golf Resort was awarded Kenya's best golf resort. Australia scooped the world's best golf destination award, with the world's best golf course going to Georgia's Augusta National Golf Club, while South Africa's Pinnacle Point Golf Course was voted Africa's best golf course. The Kenya Tourism Board has said the award is proof of the strides that Kenya has made in the development of golf over the years. Kenya is home to the only PGA course in the region, Vipingo Ridge, which has been the host of the Magical Kenya Ladies Open for the last 2 years. Kenya's dalliance with golf dates back to more than 100 years, with the country having more than 40 world-class golf courses. The government and the private sector have been working to market the country as a premier golfing destination on the African continent. The Magical Kenya Open Golf Championships, which is part of the elite European tour, has grown in stature to become a global top golfing event, attracting some of the best players in the world. These efforts appear to be bearing fruit, with the 7th Annual World Golf Awards naming Kenya as the leading golfing destination in Africa this year. Kenya managed to outstage continent's favourites South Africa, Egypt and Morocco. Karen Country Club was also voted Kenya's best golf course, while the Great Rift Valley Country Lodge and Golf Resort won the award for Kenya's best golf resort. Australia scooped the world's best golf destination award, with the world's best golf course going to Georgia's Augusta National Golf Club, while South Africa's Pinnacle Point Golf Course was voted Africa's best golf course. The Kenya Tourism Board has said the award is proof of the strides that Kenya has made in the development of golf over the years. Kenya is home to the only PGA course, Kenya is home to the only PGA course in the region, which has been the host of Magical Kenya Ladies Open for the last 2 years. O'Brien came on for lunchtime business news.
And cotton farmers in Busia County have been urged to embrace high-yielding pest-resistant cotton varieties if they are to reap big in the coming harvesting seasons. Experts have advised farmers to shift to the new hybrid BT cotton variety from conventional cotton, which has up to a 90% germination rate, over their predecessors that have between 40 to 45% germination percentages.
According to local plant breeders, BT cotton has been genetically modified to produce a protein that can kill the destructive insects that destroy cotton crops. BT crops have been shown to reduce pesticide use. BT cotton contains traits for drought tolerance, which can help increase productivity on farms by at least 10%.
Kwa sababu BT inatoa mazao mara 3 ya ile pamba ya kawaida. Nafikiri miaka kama 3-4 hivi tunaweza kuwa tunakaribia kubridge hiyo gap ya shortage.
Dr. Charles Waturu, a lead scientist for BT cotton research, observed that the number of balls realized from the fields is almost the same as what farmers are reporting that they arrived at during the research that recorded more than 40 balls per plant. Christopher Ndongole, one of the cotton farmers in Bukiri, Samia sub-county, stated that the new BT variety has shown promising yields with capability of producing at least 80 balls per plant. Ndongole, a cotton farmer from the past 20 years, said that this variety is pest-resistant, acknowledging that he only sprays once as a routine.
Hii pamba iko tofauti sana na ile. Kitu nimeona kwanza inastahimili drought. Hii pamba nimeipanda imekaa zaidi ya mwezi moja bila ya mvua. Mvua iliponyesha tu mara moja ukaona performance vile na inaweza kuwa na balls mara 3 ya ile pamba ya zamani.
Of course, it's not going to be a process that requires just one season. It's going to be a long-term process, but capacity building takes time and is very, very important for Kenya, so that the farmers are aware what is involved in the production of these hybrids.
Stakeholders are now in negotiation with the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization to start some trials to capacity build farmers to start producing hybrid seeds locally. This will also ensure that farmers are aware of what is involved in the production of hybrid cotton seeds and reduce importation of more seeds. Alan Aoko, Channel 1 Business.
And some international business news. Oil prices hit a 5-month low on Monday following fresh virus-induced lockdowns. More economies have tightened social restrictions, including the UK, France and Germany, as they battle rising infection rates. There are fears the new lockdown measures will further dent economic growth and demand for oil will slump. Details of this and more in our international business roundup.
Commodities and share markets are also on edge with the U.S. election looming this week. In Asia trading hours, the price of Brent crude oil fell to a low of $35.74 per barrel, a level not seen since late May. The price of Brent, the main benchmark for oil prices, is down 45% from the start of the year. The virus-induced slump has weighed heavily on energy companies, with BP and Shell announcing thousands of job cuts this year. BP plans to cut 10,000 jobs after a slump in demand, while Royal Dutch Shell has said it expects to cut 7,000 to 9,000 jobs. Elsewhere, Europe risks being tipped straight back into recession as sweeping restrictions aimed at curbing a second wave of coronavirus brings a rapid end to its fragile recovery. Following a record GDP growth in the third quarter, the region's gross domestic product surged 12.1% between July and September, statistics agency Eurostat said in a statement on Friday. GDP increased 12.7% across the 19 countries that use the euro. The expansions, which followed huge declines in the second quarter, were the biggest since 1995. But the EU economy remains about 4% smaller than what it was at the end of September last year, and analysts say the recovery will be short-lived. And German unemployment has fallen as the country appeared to bounce back from its initial shock of the coronavirus pandemic. However, a second partial lockdown looks to set and darken the economic outlook. The jobless figure for Germany dropped more than expected as Europe's largest economy appeared to be making a recovery from the first wave of COVID-19. The number of people out of work fell by more than 35,000 to 2.86 million in concrete terms, according to the seasonally adjusted figures. The unemployment rate eased to 6.2% from 6.3% in the previous month, a far higher drop than had been expected.
The latest in the world of sports is that Harambee Stars players and the members of their technical bench have undergone mandatory COVID-19 tests as they checked into camp ahead of their two-legged Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Comoros. The first leg will be played at the Kasarani Stadium on November 11th, while the second leg has been slated for November 15th.
18 local-based players reported to camp Monday and are set to be joined by their foreign-based counterparts starting November 5th. The national team is set to kick off residential training this evening. Kenya is placed second in Group J of the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers with 2 points after identical 1-1 draws with Togo and powerhouse Egypt. The first leg will be played at the Kasarani Stadium on November 11 under floodlights, while the second leg has been slated for November 15. Karanja David for Channel 1 Sports.
And so United left it late to knock out MCF in post-match penalties to book a place in the second-tier National Super League in the Division 1 League promotion playoff played at Utalii grounds in Nairobi. The match had ended 1-1 in relegation time.
After a KG first half, Luamba Bebeto put MCF ahead in the 65th minute. Soy United then pulled one back in the 77th minute through Timothy Muganda for a 1-1 scoreline. Neither of the sides could manage a winner in time, and in the subsequent shootout, Soy United scored 10 against MCF's 9 to seal a slot in the National Super League.
I can say from the start, they were cracking. My defense was not so well compact. They were vulnerable to being scored, but our keeper carried the day, and it did motivate my players and the team as a whole. So we kept on fighting, knowing something may happen.
The game was fair, officiating was fair, but unfortunately we lost some chances in the first half. Though in the second half the team came out well. We scored, but I thought we would defend the one goal. But unfortunately, they got that chance and they scored that goal.
And it's regulation time. Pardon me for what I said earlier there. But now, moving on, Gor Mahia captain Kenneth Muguna played a crucial role and scored one of the goals as the reigning Kenyan Premier League champions trounced National Super League side MCL 2-1 in a friendly match played at Sebastian Park in Murang'a County.
Kuna hizo game ambazo zitakuja za NSL. Hopefully hii itakuwa ni mechi zimetusaidia kwenda kusaikao vijana kwa hizo games za kuja za NSL hivi karibuni.
I think this is something that says a lot about youth development. That we need to use our youth for purposes of development. That we need to guide them. That we need to sensitize them to go the correct direction. We must take our youth away from drugs, away from violence, and away from politics. That is, we should not be using them as hooligans. We should be using them as footballers so that there can be professional development.
And substitute Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice on his return after 2 weeks out with COVID-19 as Juventus registered a comfortable 4-1 win over Serie A rookies Spezia. Elsewhere, Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored another acrobatic late winner as AC Milan consolidated top spot in Serie A with victory at Udinese.
Alvaro Morata gave the visitors the lead with a low-angled strike before Tommaso Pop. His second was a cheeky Panenka penalty after Adrian Rabiot's cool finish had given Juve a 2-goal advantage.
And Chiesa goes down, that's a penalty. Provedel facing one of the world's very greatest players here.
Behind leaders AC Milan. Elsewhere, Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored another acrobatic late winner as AC Milan consolidated top spot in Serie A with victory at Udinese. Ibrahimovic, who now has 17 goals in 22 Serie A games in his second spell with Milan, credited the first goal for Frank Kessie before Rodrigo pulled Udinese level from the penalty spot.
Scored his first ever goal in Serie A against Milan, and he scores here to level.
Ibrahimovic snatched the win when he acrobatically beat goalkeeper Juan Musso with a close-range overhead kick.
We bring a fire over as Zlatan Ibrahimovic. How does he do it? The leader, the emblem, the icon of this Milan side.
Milan are unbeaten in 24 matches since competition resumed in June after the coronavirus lockdown. In other matches, Lazio lost 4-3 to Torino, Napoli trounced Sassuolo 2-0, AS Roma humbled Fiorentina 2-0, while Sampdoria and Genoa played to a 1-1 draw.
And And that's your sporting action. Now you're up to date. Talok Singh Talok and one of our viewers from Mombasa by the name Kibibi Hassan. We appreciate you both for creating time for us, and all of you who've shared with us on social media, and all those who've also taken time to catch the latest on KBC Lunchtime News. We appreciate all of you. We could not do this without you. Thank you so much for all who made this a success. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma, and our sign language interpreter has been Simon Karotha. Have a lovely afternoon.